I don't know, it made me think of it, but then I realized, so.
See, if you follow the rules, Jill, life is good. Just kidding. I'm totally just kidding. Does any one of you guys want to lead tonight, or do you want me to lead?
Sure, I can lead. All right,
Okay.
so we've gone through all that. The first question, what made Noodles and Company an attractive opportunity for Aaron Kennedy in 1995? So I think it's important first to consider what was going on at 1995 for him.
One of the things that I thought in the answer to this was that he had that meal in New York, and he loved it so much that he couldn't get that out of his head.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I thought it was cool when he said, noodles are the universal food. So
Mm-hmm.
I just thought that was a concept that I thought was really cool, that he made it was attractive to him to try to move that forward.
I think that was a time period too when like the whole like these different pockets of movements in like the health, like really health centric people started up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that kind of made it attractive too, because it was a more healthier version of getting food fast.
Yeah, I agree.
I also like the concept that so tell me if I'm wrong in this, but he wanted it to be a quick, you order at the counter, you sit down, you eat, but it's like a quick turnaround of getting your food versus a more formal sit down dining type restaurant.
It's a fast casual kind of restaurant.
Mm-hmm. I've never been there. Have you guys been there?
Yeah.
No.
I have, but I didn't like much.
You didn't like it?
No, it tastes weird. I mean, the place is nice. It's very casual, but like, I don't know if because I choose a recipe that I didn't like. Maybe the other ones are good, but I didn't like.
Yeah, they have some weird ones, but I like their stuff. My little siblings really like eating there. But I like that they have a wide variety of options. Like it's got Asian, there's Italian, there's you can get Thai noodles, you can get mac and cheese, you can get any kind of meat on any kind of anything. And so
is it like how there's one place that I go to in Arizona, it's like you get like frozen meat and you put it like everything's like uncooked, and then you just put it and you fit it into a bowl, and then whatever you can fit into the bowl, they'll put it on the pan and like cook it. Is it like that?
No, so they have specific things you can order. Like they have Thai noodles. It's kind of like pad Thai, and then they have like a Japanese one, and it's specific kinds. Like they have buttered noodles that have like a garlic sauce on them. And
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry.
Is it similar to Panda Express?
Kind of, but not really. Like you order the noodles, and then they have a separate menu of like meats. So you can get meatballs, chicken, whatever. So you choose what dish you want, and then you pick the meat that you put on top of it.
Yeah.
And they have 2 sizes of bowls.
So is it already pre-cooked and then they just mix it together?
No, so they have like they'll cook the noodles in like large batches. So they have like a batch of like Japanese noodles and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But then you choose, and then they cook the meat separately. So like if you want mac and cheese with meatballs on it, then you ask for mac and cheese, and they get you mac and cheese, and they put the fresh meatballs on top of it.
Interesting.
Sorry about that. Someone was coming. That one of the tenants that lives here needed help with something.
See how you are? You leave us, you fearless leader.
I think it tastes very industrial. I don't know. I am a fan of like things that taste like homemade.
Yeah.
And in my opinion, they already too.
I think part of that too is I'm pretty sure they franchised. So in the beginning, their ingredients were probably more local and more based that way. But then as they franchised, they lost a little bit of the quality.
Mm-hmm.
So
Because
Nice.
I'm not sure how it goes with franchises, but I wonder if they, like, each store can, well, no, because then it would have to be the same ingredients. No, never mind. Scrap what everything I was about to say.
Or does each franchise get it locally where they are and get like a variation of whatever's available locally?
That could be
I
it
don't know.
too. Like,
That's what
The
they
menu's
should
the
do.
same in California and in Utah.
Say what?
The menu is the same in California and Utah.
well, like the menu can still be the same, but the like the
They taste the
quality,
same.
like you
I
can
have
get
no idea
like
if
say
the
like In and Out,
ingredients are different.
like because In and Out, what they do is like everyone that I've ever talked to, I've never had In and Out in California, but they say like it literally tastes different in
It
California than it
does.
does. So then maybe the people who they purchase the goods from, it's like different quality.
Which one tastes better?
I've heard
California.
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 Yeah.
So is it because they pay more for it, or they get better ingredients, or what?
Possibly.
California is massive on health food. Like you can't go anywhere without having organic or gluten-free options. So my guess is a lot of the stuff that they have is like just very high priced. That and everything in California is like 10% more expensive than anywhere else. So
Yeah.
Mhm. So on to the next question. What caused the company's early struggles? And then also, why do we think that?
I think they started too fast.
Mm-hmm.
I think, okay, they started with 3 stores. Why don't they like try to fix all the problems and all the things that they were learning on the way of the management with the 3 stores first? They were already like in 4 stores, and so like, how come if you doesn't even know if the 3 stores are giving profit, how come you already jump out, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I read somewhere that they didn't even know until the 4th month that they were losing money on some of the stores.
Yeah.
So it was a kind of lack of management and control with what they already have.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was one of the struggles.
I also think too, along with that he had mentioned that they had like a poor menu, like they needed to work more on their dishes that they offered. He's like they weren't that great, so I think they could have done better that way and probably been more successful in the first little while.
Yeah. Because here's a question. Because like they had what? I think they started out with 1 and then they quickly jumped to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that because they jumped to those other 2, I think at that point they'd already started to adjust the menu. Is that right?
I
think
so.
I think so, because I think in the third one they kind of took it slower and figured out what went wrong,
Uh-huh.
so that they could make the third one go better. Correct?
Yeah. So like with like the first one, if they had already gotten bad reviews like in the newspaper, do you think having those other 2 stores, even though it seemed fast to open those, do you think those helped them to recover from the first one because of like so much bad publicity?
Answering your question, it kind of helped in one way, because
Uh-huh.
they say somewhere that you should never test a product, like the success of a product, by testing in only one market. So
Mm-hmm.
by expanding to another market, they could like try different things with another different target audience. So
Mm-hmm.
and I think it helped because of that. So they could try new things, but at the same time they kind of forget addressing problems. I
Yeah.
think it was
Well,
too much going on at the same time.
yeah, I agree. Because like I mean, as I was reading, it was like, oh, more stores, and then it was just like not long later, it was like, oh, they've built more stores, and yet they're still not doing so well. And I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, more stores. I was like, or more locations. I'm like, it looks like you're taking another bite before you've chewed what you have.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
I agree.
All right. Next question. What role should franchising play in the company's growth?
I think they should not play any role. I think it was not the right time yet to franchise.
Mhm. Why do you think that?
I can show you. It's recording already. Go away. Hold on. I'm using this. Sorry, guys. My husband. Let me share my screen with why I think that. Just, just a second. I haven't finished everything yet, but just to have an idea. Can you see it now?
No.
No. Oh no. Oh, you just had it a second ago.
Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay. So they have the goal of building 300 stores, right? So I did the math. How much would make revenue from a franchise, and how much would they make not having a franchise? So with a franchise planet, like franchise 50% planet, like they would make 5% in royalties, and then if they own the store, they would make 20% in profit. On the Accept 9, it says that the annual revenue per share would be an average of 800. So multiplying this by this, they make 40, and this by this, they make 160. Right now, they already have 58 stores, which means they're only, if they go to the 50% franchise and 50% owning the stores, would be 121 and 121. And they have to pay 35,000 fee the franchise to have it. So the total profit, I don't know if it makes sense, would be this 40 times 121 stores, which which give them 4 million, and there's 28 million. So the final result means by having all the stores without franchising, they would make 48 million, and by having divided, they would make 33 million. So which means that having everything, like owning all the stores without the franchise, they make 14 million more on revenue. So yes, by having a franchise would help them financially and with the control management and everything, but it's about 15% loss by having franchise. So there's a lot of money that they are not making by having that now. So are those 14 million worth the loss? So that was my kind of thinking. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, you sold me on not franchising, at least for a time.
You know, you're stressed and you just need to brush your teeth.
I don't think franchising is the way that they should have gone, because
Yeah.
I think they would lose some of their integrity of the company and how it was built and how it was built on what their focus on the customer was. I think sometimes when you go to franchising, and this kind of answers the next question more, but I think sometimes when you go to franchising, it takes the integrity of what you intended it to be and turns it into what somebody else kind of deviates from that and does their own process of that.
Well, I think we definitely even just experienced that firsthand, where like Victoria was saying that like it didn't seem like it had a very like home cooked feel.
Mm-hmm.
I think franchising helps with like organizational stress, though, like the way that the company was run, you could tell that they were stressed about money and that they were worried about it. and franchising kind of alleviates that, which is my guess why they went with it. Like, even though they were losing money, it made sense to them just because it would save them time and energy.
That they could build with having the franchising.
Yeah. I mean, you're losing the integrity of the company, but when you've been with it since 1995, they're just kind of like, what do we do with it now?
They're just kind of done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At least that's kind of what I got when reading the case. I was like, they seem done. They're just like, I don't know what to do with this anymore.
Well,
Yeah.
and how old would he have been? Because that would be also another thing too, is 20 years later. I mean, now, like retirement or whatever, or does he still, you know, is he still well involved in it or not?
No.
That's the old lady's perspective, just so you know.
A good thing about franchising is that the cost, because to open a new store, it's about $500,000 that they would have not to worry about building the new store and everything.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
All right. So last question. What are the specific advantages and disadvantages of the franchising model for Noodles, including the financial, economic, and organizational consequences? I think we kind of already went over that, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think economically too, I put this in my notes, is that I think economically it would be good because you would get, like, if you were to franchise, you'd get people with ideas. Like, I look around the area that I live right now and I'm like, I wish we could put a Planet Fitness around here, or a franchised company, or even some of these like Noodles and Company and some of these other chains, like to put them around an area where it's just housing and put more commercial stuff in there, I think would be a way that you could get an economy to grow too. So I think economically it would be beneficial because you could find places around to do it.
Yeah. I think too, how they wanted to expand was through the Midwest and then moving towards like Europe. And franchising is one of the quickest ways to do that, because you've got someone who travels to Chicago and tries Noodles and Company and says, oh, I'd really like that, but they're from California, so they take it back and they say, can I open one here? And if they have the money to do it, then they do it. And that's because it's something that would do well in that area. So like, I think franchising helps in that area. It would help them expand, like economically. It makes sense for them. But
then when you see Victoria's numbers, you're like, I don't know.
yeah.
I was totally favor of franchising, and then I did the math, and then I was like, okay, 14 million, it's a lot.
Yeah.
That you are losing.
Yeah.
And to open like new stores, I was working on the second table that I didn't finish yet. How much would be the cost of investment? And it would be 60 million of investment that they would have not to pay if they franchise, to build the 121 stores that they wanted to by franchising. So they would save a lot of money, but the 60 millions, they would break even in 3 years if they doesn't franchise. They can make the 60 millions based on the $14 million they're gonna lose in about 3-4 years. So like in the short term, franchise, it's a good thing to expand it and financially, but in the long term, they can make way more money on their own.
Yeah.
But can they handle the organization of it? That's my question. Like, they're already struggling with organizing their stores, so handling the organization on their own would be a struggle.
I think if they hire very skillful people, like they right people like general managers in certain areas, that could help. and they could pay like a high salary for those people to control the stores in different markets, and it still doesn't lose 15% in profit by just paying very well salaries for qualified people.
Yeah.
That would be an alternative.
I think to go along with that too, when I was reading, it talked about taking people from a store and then moving them up to these other stores. So they already had the experience and things like that, that they could go and move to the next level and like run the next store. So they would take like maybe like a manager and move them to a general, you know, like a general manager, because they've already got the experience of running a store, and then just like pay for them to move, you know, to another store to open it. I think it would be wise to do that, because then they would have their knowledge of concept already.
I think we lost Jill.
Down.
Oh.
So when you talk organization,
Yeah.
sorry, am I back?
Yeah.
I don't know why it keeps cutting out. Okay, so did you get the message of what I said?
I think so.
A little.
So like if you were to take somebody from one store and move them to another store, like to open it or franchise it, then you already have the concept learned by the employee, and then they could run the next one. So like you could take care of your organizational stuff that way. Just a thought.
Yeah.
But would it take longer to open up the 100, however many stores they need to open? Whatever it was, the 240 something stores.
It probably would take longer.
It would take longer.
Yeah, franchising would do it faster, but I don't know. I understand why they went with franchising, and that would be my choice, just because I get that the long run you would make a lot more money, but with the stress that they've already been under with the company and how they're not super great at the organizational things, it would take them longer to get to the point where they want to be, where they would be making money. Whereas if they do it franchising, they're making it quicker, they're just making a little less.
Yeah.
A lot less.
Less stress.
Yeah, but it's less stress. Like, to me, I would rather have less money and less stress.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would do that too. If it was
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just open up 10 more stores. You got your money made up right there. Just kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, they would still make $4 million without having any problems. So we'll still be good.
Yeah.
4 million.
Yeah.
And
I was gonna say it's more than I have. So
I'd be happy with it.
yeah.
That's awesome.
All right. Was that it?
I think so.
All right. Good
We
chat,
made it by
guys.
9 o'clock, so woo.
Yep.
You guys are so awesome. I so appreciate that.
we're meeting next Tuesday, right?
What's that?
We're meeting again next Thursday.
On Thursday, yes.
On this,
Yeah.
And then did you guys get the email from Brother Roper? So
Yeah.
next week we only have one case to do, not two.
okay.
Awesome.
So we'll have
We'll
to
still
figure
meet
out.
on
Are you guys
Tuesday.
going? What's that?
So we'll still meet on Tuesday next week.
Are you guys okay with that?
I'm fine
Yeah.
with
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
So we'll do that. I'm leaving town on Thanksgiving, so
that. I'm leaving
That works
the
for
night
me, that-
before Thanksgiving.
okay. So then we'll just plan on next Tuesday also. So Thursday and then Tuesday.
Sounds good.
Okay. Sounds good.
Hey.
We'll see you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.